So this just turned into this. And the number one question I've gotten in my comment section and live stream chats is, when am I going to make one of these for this? Well, I'll answer that for you. And to do that, I'm going to need your help, which I'll talk about later in the video. But first, we need to talk about the game at a deeper level. And to do that, we need to go back a little bit. The Omnioculus Playbook was a Void 3.0 hunter build documentary where I effectively moaned over a vest with eyeballs for 20 minutes, and, well, folks loved it. Many said it showed them a new way to play their hunter. Some said it made them want to move away from Titans and Warlocks and play hunter as their main class. Hell, one guy said it made him log into the game for the first time in months. This build was that crazy, and I'm not saying that just to stroke my own ego. The way all of the parts and pieces work together is so intuitive and fluid that it can only be described as harmonious. The quality of the video isn't so much a testament to my build crafting and storytelling abilities, but more so a byproduct of the incredible gameplay loops made possible by Void 3.0 and its pairing exotic options. So, how do we make something of that caliber for Solar? When you look at Destiny, the core of the game is to deal as much damage as possible while receiving as little damage as possible, aka kill the bad guys and don't let them kill you. The various subclasses offer us a myriad of tools, typically in the form of buffs and debuffs, to assist us in completing these two goals. There is no more perfect example of this than Void 3.0. It's all about weakening, suppressing, shielding, and invisibility. These are things that meet that mold of complementing our efforts to achieve the primary goals of the game. Weakening helps you deal more damage to enemies, while suppressing, shielding, and invisibility help you avoid taking damage or mitigating the damage that you do receive. Solar, on the other hand, has power fantasies that revolve around damage and healing. Instead of weakening and suppressing, the Void debuffs, Solar aims to Scorch and Ignite, which are the fancy Destiny 2 words for dealing damage over time and spreading that damage to nearby enemies. The goal that this element attempts to accomplish is not to complement the core combat goal of the game like Void does. It's to accomplish the core combat goal of the game itself, which is where we begin to run into issues. Void, quite frankly, is allowed to be overpowered. Let's not kid ourselves. Overshields are incredibly strong, suppression is just blinding on steroids, and we all know how strong blinding grenade launchers are. Being able to weaken enemies with ease using undermining grenades, smoke bombs, and Child of the Old Gods is very useful, and invisibility is perfectly balanced. Yet, none of these tools or resources intrinsically break the game. You can use them in combinations and builds that make them incredibly potent, but you're still having to kill the bad guys with your guns. Void is 100% meant to enable your gunplay. Solar, on the other hand, tries to take the focus away from gunplay and shine the light on itself. It is the star of the show. The entire purpose of Solar is straight up dealing damage. Sure, you have things like Radiant that give 10% damage buffs, and supers like Well of Radiance that grant even more, but look at the overwhelming majority of the Solar toolkit. The grenades, the melee abilities, Blade Barrage, Golden Gun, Dawn Blade, Little Hammers, Big Hammer, I definitely know the names of all these supers. Their entire purpose is to deal damage. And sure, they activate debuffs just like Void does, but what do those debuffs do in the case of Solar? Just more damage. Since Solar itself aims to accomplish the main combat goals of the game rather than assist you in completing them with the rest of your arsenal, it must be balanced very, very, very carefully. Solar is not allowed to be overtuned or super powerful in the same way that Void is, because if Solar is overtuned, it outshines everything else in the game. And when the goal of Solar is to accomplish the core goal of the game instead of assisting with accomplishing it, having it be overpowered would be catastrophic for build diversity. No amount of utility, build crafting, or creative buff usage has any meaning when you can theoretically pick the option that aims to just one-shot every single thing. Why bother using Void invisibility and weakening to procedurally weave through packs of ads when you can throw a bunch of sun-sized explosions at them? You wouldn't, is the simple answer. So Solar has to be kept in check, and to Bungie's credit, they have done a good job of that. There's a reason you see everyone talking about how underwhelming Solar 3.0 feels compared to Void 3.0. It's because it is. But the reason that it is underwhelming is because it has to be. With the design philosophies orbiting the solar element, it can't be too strong without rendering every other option useless. That is the problem that you face when you design a subclass meant to directly solve the primary combat task in the game. The other side of Solar is, of course, healing, which in short is not useful in a game like Destiny that tries to be both a shooter and an MMO. In traditional MMOs, healing as a role and focus works, but since Destiny is missing a lot of the things that traditional MMOs have, such as tanks, holding aggro, large health pools, and constant targeted damage, healing can't be meaningful in this game. Besides, something like 40% damage resistance from tier 10 resilience is significantly more useful than a healing grenade. Why bother speccing into healing your allies when they can just negate the damage up front in the first place? Now, sure, we have only had Solar 3.0 for a few days, and I'm 1000% sure that it will become stronger simply as we buildcraft and learn more about the mechanics and synergies. But I just don't see it being anywhere near as good as Void 3.0 without any tuning to the design philosophies of the element. For the sake of balance, it just can't be that strong. So that leads us to the Solar 3.0 playbook. Will I make one? Well, right now the answer is no, but that doesn't mean that the answer will always be no. I would absolutely love to make one and showcase crazy and power fantasy fulfilling builds, but I refuse to make something out of nothing. Like I said, the Omnioculus playbook centered around Void 3.0 is not a testament to my build crafting ability. It's a testament to the harmonic synergies and capabilities offered by the Void subclass. That video can't exist, or at least be as good as it was, without a genuinely good build as the subject. If I can find something in Solar that can fit that mold, I'll have a video on your doorstep about it as soon as possible. But I'm not going to try and clickbait some random concoction of abilities and mods that don't actually produce something amazing together. I can't make a Solar 3.0 playbook right now, simply because there isn't something out there worthwhile to make it about yet. Perhaps as time goes on, we will find something through practice and experimentation that shines through, at which point I will get to work. Speaking of which, like I said at the beginning, I could really use your help trying to find a build that is worth creating a Solar 3.0 playbook about. 33,000 heads are always going to be better than one, which, by the way, if you want to grow that head count, do me a favor and tap that subscribe button down below. I know for a fact that many of you folks that watch my content are better and more experienced players than me, especially on non-hunter classes. So please do me a huge favor and let me know if any potential Solar 3.0 playbook builds cross your mind. You can give me the ideas to check out in the comment section of this video, you can tweet at me, you can tell me in my Discord server, doesn't matter either way. But I know for a fact that with some tuning from Bungie and some critical thinking from us, we can conjure up something worthy of a Solar 3.0 playbook video. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, have a great day.